Sami Zayn is the best thing in professional wrestling right now. There's always somebody who disagrees, but even Jim Cornette has come out and gone, oh man, yeah, that's Sami Zayn. He's pretty damn good at what he does. The underdog from the underground is coming of age. As such, people have rightfully started to say that he should be the guy to defeat Roman Reigns to become the WWE Undisputed Champion, and I have zoomed in here today to say, yep, you're 100% right, because Sami Zayn, he's the one. Why? Why? So straight away we will get the scoffers. You know who you are and you love to scoff. And the two things that they will scoff about is one, yeah, right, Sami Zayn. He's not the right guy to become champion. And scoff number two is, yeah, right, WWE would never do that because that's not what WWE does. So we are going to get into both, starting with number one, because that's what we as a human race have determined when it comes to the numbering system. And what I shall do is I shall take your, Sami Zayn isn't the guy, and I shall throw it back to you with a question of my own. Because why, or more specifically, why not? I totally understand that within a wrestling company, there's always going to be certain people you want to push. I mean, Roman Reigns is a perfect example of that. But when you start going through history, some of the biggest stars ever kind of just happened on a whim. For example, if you ignore the murmurings in 1996, you probably don't get Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you then ignore all the whispers in 1997 and you don't turn the Rock heel, well, maybe you never get the great one. And don't forget about John Cena. WWE was ready to fire him before he started rapping. Then they were like, this kid's got something. So let us not pretend that it's one size fits all. And if you need more evidence, just go and say hello to Lex Luger. I mean, that guy was slamming Yokozuna on a giant boat. Although, when I say it like that, it's no surprise he didn't become the level that WWE was hoping for. The point is, when it comes to wrestling, anybody can step into that role. All you need is the powers that be to nod their heads and say, okay, we'll give it a go. And as long as you're able to go out there and do your thing, you can be the top star. And damn it, I think I just described Sami Zayn. Because he is just brilliant. And you do get this chatter where people go, well, he's not a top star. And I say, that is BS. In what world are we living where somebody as talented as Mr. Zayn wouldn't be considered to be pushed as hard as possible? I mean, who is better right now in today's wrestling landscape? I know there are people around him. I'm not saying he's miles and miles away from every single wrestler that ever lived, but I think I've already said it, but I'll say it again. He's able to wrestle. You can give him any kind of storyline and he'll make it work, and he has the fan support. So if you were writing down, oh, well, who should we focus on going forward? It would probably be this person. Moving on to the second point too, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. If Vince McMahon was still pulling the strings within WWE, Sami Zayn would probably be in the position that Sami Zayn always was. But Vince McMahon isn't running the promotion anymore, and now it's Triple H. And from what we've seen so far, he's far more flexible. So if this hurrah does continue for Zayn, I think at the very least a conversation is going to be had where Paul Levesque is like, well, maybe he should be the person to beat Roman Reigns. And really, if they did do that, I think it'd be a spot of genius. Because look at it this way. Right now, WWE is riding a wave and they've started to build back fan support. Now, you can go over the last decade to see that has not always been the case. And sometimes the audience actively goes to watch a World Wrestling Entertainment event and they're like, I tell you, they're going to screw us at some point because they always do. So we don't feel like we're going to be dicked over anymore, or at least a bit less. And yes, Raw Anonymous General Manager, I'm looking at you. The best way to cement that is to show that you're now doing things differently, e.g. making Sami Zayn the WWE Undisputed Champion. And not only is that going to be a moment, and never forget that wrestling is all about moments, but you would be telling your entire audience, including lap fans, that we're not using the same tools anymore. Now, everybody has a chance as long as the momentum and the story is there, and I cannot think of one person who would be against that. Apart from maybe Hulk Hogan, he always wanted to be at the top. Furthermore, Zayn does have everything he needs to make this work. He's only 38 years old, so could go another 10 years if he wanted. And he has almost never dropped the ball. And the only times he has is when he's been put in impossible situations, like that feud with Bobby Lashley and Bobby Lashley's sisters. And even when he's been heel for the last few years, he's always been beloved. And now that one person's going to pop up again and say, that proves he's just a rubbish bad guy. And I do take your point. It's because he has something. He has that intangible quality that when he comes out, he makes you laugh. And after a while, you're like, this guy kind of like him. So what we're basically saying is that he's the quintessential babyface, and isn't that what we're looking for right now? Isn't that the person that's meant to take down Roman Reigns? Like, I know Roman has become a hero because he's so damn talented, but in terms of the story, he is the end-of-level boss, and a hero is meant to be the one to take him down. The answer to everything I've just said is yes, which is why, once again, I'm mentioning Sami Zayn, because he just fits. And that's why people on Reddit and other forums are saying, oh, it should be Sami Zayn because he fits. And when you get to social media, it's the same thing. Quite literally, everyone is crossing their arms and saying, well, why shouldn't we give it to Sami Zayn? And that's the whole point. We totally should. My arms are stuck. I mean, the only reason we're all so reserved is because WWE would never have done this in the past, but we've already talked about that. The rules have changed. If you do decide to do this as well, you have another story that is just looking you in the face. Because throughout all of this, Kevin Owens can be like, oh man, Sami Zayn, I'm your friend, I'm your buddy, I'm your pal. I want you to get to the tippy top. Then when he does, you just redo the narrative we did down in NXT, and who's the person that flies out to crush Sami and break all our hearts? It's Doink the Clown. No, it's not, it's Kevin Owens. It also means that you get that feud again on the main roster for the biggest prize in all of WWE. And you can call me a hardcore smart fan dickhead wannabe. Up to you. I think that would rock. Now, I know there's lots of other people in mind too, but would they really have the same impact? Let's take somebody like Bron Breakker. Now, Bron is absolutely going to be a future world champion because he's that damn good. But does him beating Roman Reigns turn him into that super duper top guy? I mean, on paper it does, but as we've already established, on paper means nothing. You need the fans. So I don't think this is going to be a game changer overnight, and you also have to make sure you have an array of other things so this does work. So why would you take the risk when you already have somebody else that is ready to go? I mean, it's like Santa Claus came down the chimney and gave WWE a big present, and now all they've got to do is unpackage it. Don't pretend like Sami Zayn is too old either. I saw this the other day. When Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak at WrestleMania 30, he was only 37 years old, and he used that to become one of the most dominant forces in all of sports entertainment. So you could just do the same thing here. You have that one big moment, and then you ride the wave. I mean, you could say that Brock has been the most important asset to WWE since 2014. And while it would be difficult for Sami to replicate that, do I think he's in with a chance? I genuinely do. It would just be done completely differently. He's even somebody that could lose it down the line, doesn't have to be champion for a year, because when he started chasing it back again, he's so damn lovable, we'd all be rooting for him. This all just ties back into the fact that he's so flexible as a performer, and do not forget what he did at WrestleMania this year with the Jackass crew. I cannot think of anybody else on the planet that would have pulled it off as good as he did. Man was born to do it. So forget everybody else and what the possibilities could be, and let's just give it to Sami Zayn. I mean, the Bloodline story has been one of the best that WWE has done for years, and if you want to make it an all-timer and put that cherry on top, you follow the obvious pathway, which ends with Sami becoming champ. Who cares really? Like, does it actually matter? There's some people that go, yeah, but Roman Reigns has held it for so long, we need to tread carefully here. No, we don't. You can give something a go, and then you can have Roman Reigns be the champion for the next 10 years. It's professional wrestling. Why don't you just go crazy? Sami Zayn. Now, please do leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Roman Reigns, the World Championship, and Sami Zayn. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read yourself some articles. Make sure you come follow us on social media, What Culture, WWE, and Cyber316. We have other videos. Watch them. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for joining me as always. I'll see you soon.